using decks to ignite your own clarity. If you can hear me, I would very much appreciate if you throw something in the chat that says you can hear me. Hi, Jacqueline. You have a question already. Yay! I will answer that in the during the presentation. Hi, Robin. Hi, Brenda. Hope everybody's doing well today on this. It's a gorgeous sunny day. I am at my main house in Rhode Island. I am not at the lake, but the sun is coming in. The river, I can hear it kind of flowing below. So Cindy has the same question as Jacqueline. Hi, Galen. How are you? So it echoes a lot. Okay, let me fix that for us. Let me fix that for us. No, wrong computer on this side. Okay, let's see. How's that? Is that better, Robin? Much better. Good, good, good. Okay, so for those of you who have not been on my webinars before, this is a teaching webinar where I am sharing some principles about how to use Oracle decks as promised. If you have questions along the way, please put them in the chat. I will address them as the time goes forward. I am hoping to contain this to an hour, but one never knows. So if you need to get up and go get a glass of water, go to the bathroom, I'm going to start in just 1 minute here. I do suggest that if you can get a little centered and turn off notifications in the phone. I know it's the middle of a work day, but I'd really love to have you're creating the time and energy for this, to have you present with us. So that would be great. I threw into the chat the Google Doc for note-taking. It roughly follows the presentation today, but I like to go off at the cuff. I do not like to just kind of come at you with a lecture that is read to you, so one never knows where this flies. Okay. Great question, Robin. Hi, Kim. Okay. All right. So let me do this. And let's get centered here. Hi, Mary. Welcome. So I call upon the spirit of the east, the element of air, the spirit of the south, the element of water, the spirit of the west, the element of fire, and the spirit of the north, the element of earth, to join us today to support our learning and the time that we have together so that we can better gain clarity as well as move forward living our truths. So welcome, everybody. This is the Becoming Your Own Oracle, Using Decks to Ignite Your Own Clarity webinar. I am Laura Clark, known as the Soul Wise Living Mentor, sharing with you my expertise on using the cards that we have around us. And the thing about Oracle cards is that oracles are, I asked for the definition in the Living Your Truth community a couple of days ago. What is your definition of oracle? And a couple people came back with different things. And it's the all-knowing, right? It's that being prescient to the future knowledge. But it's really about getting in touch with your truth. What is the truth that lies within us? And we, each and every one of us, can be our own oracle. We can be in touch with who we are, so that we can have that as our compass in making our choices moving forward. During our time together, you're going to discover the abundant uses of card decks, and know this is not just applicable to the Oracle of the Lake deck. This is applicable to any kind of card deck. So we're also going to talk about how to select and connect to your decks, because that's a very important and key component. about deepening the clarity of each and every card in a deck for yourself. Creating your own unique shuffle pattern, which is really kind of fun because people shuffle, as many people there are using oracle decks, there are that many different kinds of patterns that you can use to shuffle, and it's getting in touch with what works for you, pulling those cards, asking your discerning questions. We're going to talk about how to ask the right questions to get the best, better answer for yourself. We're going to talk very quickly about personalized drawings and how to use these as readings. I'll go through my very favorite drawing if we have time. And then that all important, once you've drawn the cards and you see them sitting there, what do they mean? And how can you use that information coming forth? So let's start accessing our inner knowledge and knowing, becoming your own oracle and align with your purpose and live your truth. And as I said before, if you have any questions, throw them up into the chat as I go along. I will go back to connect with that and answer any questions that you might have and save some Q&A for the end as well. Okay. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Laura Clark. I am known as the Soul Wise Living Mentor. And what does clarity bring you? Well, it brings you everything. For those who are new to me, what you may not know is that I've suffered from bouts of very severe depression in my life. When I was a teenager, when I was in college, in my late 20s and my early 30s, it was debilitating at times. And oftentimes that's because you're just not clear, and it can go down the rabbit's hole. And when you get so deep in that, yes, you need medical intervention. I have a theory that we can stop that process. We can stop it when we know ourselves, when we're very clear and we have that strength and the courage to step forward, living our truth. And before we go down that and become that mogul in the hole and have all of that unk and that gunk glumming on us, that we can step forward and, despite all of the energies that are coming at us in life, we can live in joy and abundance. So I spent years investing time, energy, and financial resources in the ability for me to live my truth. And that's my passion now, is sharing those valuable lessons and skills and skill sets and tools with people so that they can live your truth. Because it feels like you're in a prison when you're not. It feels like you are out of control, that you have no ability to navigate through the challenges that we face in our day-to-day lives. And I never want anyone to feel that way. And I believe that oracle cards can really, really, really help us center and get grounded so that we can hear that gut instinct coming forth, and so that we can set ourselves up for great success. One of the other things you may not know is that I am a master oracle card reader. I've taken a course. I've studied with 3 or 4 very, very talented oracle masters. So what you're learning today is coming from a compilation of theories that I've learned and put together that I use for my readings for myself as well as for my clients. So I'll ask you a question before we begin. Where do you need clarity right now? Take a moment and think about where you might need clarity right now in your life. Where does it seem like you're not quite getting the right answers and you might be spinning around a little bit? Is it in your health? Is it in a relationship? Is it in building a business? Is it in any kind of passion that you're following and you're just not quite sure how to follow that passion? So where might you need clarity right now? Because that question is going to come up again at the end of this. Okay? Why oracle cards and how to use them? We only need to look at rainbows to find the answer. So I have a thing about rainbows, if you don't know that already. Rainbows are our bridge. They are our bridge to spirit and source. And the colors in a rainbow align with our chakras, as to who we are. They start from earth, they go to the sky. They also come from the sky down. So they're an energetic pathway back and forth. When you see a double rainbow, oh my gosh, you've been so blessed. I've seen a few at the lake, and they are just absolutely great messengers for the time that we see them. And when you look at that concept of a rainbow, the connection to source, oracle cards are the same thing. They are an energetic connect to your own divine wisdom, which is directly connected to source energy. And that's where the concept of oracle comes in place. It's that connection to divine wisdom that we have right within inside of us. We have that red hot line, telephone hotline to source through that concept of a rainbow, through using these spiritual awakening tools and oracle cards. So why do we want to use them? Because oftentimes we do not gain our own clarity because we are overthinking, or we're over emotional, or we are so on the go that we don't take that moment to stop and think, to get that answer. And oracle cards are that reminder to stop and think. And you can use them anytime, any day. You can use them just as one card readings. You can use them as very elaborate card readings. And so when you are stepping forward in this process of beginning to use them, or even if you've used them for a long time, there's that unique connection that we can create with the cards that symbolize that they are our own, right? So, which deck is for you? The Lake of the Oracle card deck is for everybody. That's my new one that's out there. And I will give you the opportunity to go connect with that later on in the webinar. But really, which deck is for you? And I have 4 or 5 of them right here with me today. I am an Oracle card deck hoarder. There are lots and lots of different card decks out there. There are affirmation decks. So we have this one here. It's an affirmation deck. It just has those affirmations of strength and courage that we need to remind ourselves of. We have angel card decks, which are meant for, this is the ethereal angel card deck. It's a brand new one to me. I have not even attuned to it yet. I'll talk about attuning to card decks as we go forward through this. But angel card decks are that connection to our spirit angels, right? Here's another affirmation deck, right? Then we have oracle decks. The difference between an oracle deck, an angel deck, and or an affirmation deck is oracle card decks are created with that connection to source that the author has. Okay? So the author has this deep connection. So this is Sonia Choquette's The Answer is Simple. And that deep connection that she has to creating a very simple life. And she created that with that connection to her oracle. And certainly the Oracle of the Lake deck was co-created, really, it was co-created by the lake, by the energy of the lake, and me, for the use of everyone that comes into contact with that. So those are the different kinds. Which deck is for you? I love them all. They're really great. And there are times when, I've had the Oracle of the Lake deck now in my hot little hands for about 2 months. And yes, I'm going to it because that's my new go-to one. But there are times when I've gone back and I've grabbed an affirmation card because that's what I need to support me. There's a Wisdom of the Tree deck that I have. So it goes to the trees with that earth element when I've needed that strength from Mother Earth. So those are the decks that are for you. How do you choose them? How do you choose your deck? So this is really hard for me to say. I'll be honest. I will put my hand up here. This is really hard for me to say because I really believe that going to a store and connecting to the energy of the deck is the best way. And yet, I don't have these in the store. I don't have the Oracle of the Lake cards in the store. Um, but that's why I do this, so that if you connect with me, you're really feeling the Oracle of the Lake, and then thereby you can have that. But go to the store, pick them up, feel them, connect with them, use a friend's to see if that deck aligns with you. There are so many out there that are just absolutely beautiful and have had lots of love and energy put into them, and they will support you as well. So if you have a deck with you, that would be great, because we may be connecting to that later. If not, and if you have an index card or just a blank piece of paper, that would be wonderful. So once you've chosen your deck, what's the next best thing? Well, that's really consecrating the deck. And this is really hard. So I typically will buy 2 decks of the same thing, right? So that I have a deck that I can play with and use and start creating. And I have another deck that I consecrate. And what do we mean by consecrate? We mean deep connection to. And that's holding the deck up to your heart and just feeling the loving energy of the universe's source into your heart, feeling them at your head, at your thought level, at your mind level. What are these cards going to do to support me in all that I want to do to live my truth? Feeling them at your soul level, down at your solar plexus. And what does my soul want me to know about these cards and their importance in my life? So we connect to the whole deck. You can put them out in the full moon energy when you first get them. You can put them out in the new moon energy when you first get them. You can put them out with crystals. We'll be talking a little bit about crystals later too. Then what you want to do is the one that, if you get 2 decks or any deck, the one, just go through the deck and start looking at the cards and say, oh wow, make wake. I wonder what that means. Make wake. Okay, moving forward. Gotta get on the gotta get on the boat and get it moving. So the wake is what comes out of the back of the boat, right? Or you might say, oh, stack wood. Stack wood. What does this card mean for me? And you can go through and you can journal on each card and decide which one, what that particular message is for you. When they come with booklets and PDFs or e-booklets, my deck comes with an e-booklet, but when they come with that, look first to your own meaning, develop that own meaning, and then go to the author's meaning. The author has co-created that booklet and has put a lot of time and energy into it, and it has lots of valuable information. But it is not, and let me repeat, it is not your own connection to that card and inner wisdom. It's just the dictionary. So if you wanted to learn the word, what does the word vital mean to you? Lots of energy and movement forward. Well, then you might go to the dictionary to get a little deeper knowledge. That's the same thing with the ebooks that come with the card decks or the booklets themselves. So start connecting and exploring the beauty of each and every one of your decks. Okay. Once you get that initial connection, what you're going to want to do is start looking through the veil of each card. What does it mean on a very, very cellular level for yourself? At the beginning of the webinar, I called in the energy of all of the elements for us, the 4 major elements, to support us. What you can do is journal on each and every one of your cards. So if you take your card deck out and you say, okay, I'm going to connect to the wishing pool deck card today. I'm going to connect it to that card today. What does it mean to me? What am I thinking? What am I thinking about a wishing pool? Oh man, I wish it would come true. It's the fairy tale. Wishing pool to me means it's a fairy tale. Wishing pool means that it might not come true, right? And I'd ask, what does my heart think about wishing pools? Oh, they're a place to really start dreaming, and they're energetically connected to our emotions because they have water in them. What else does my heart say? My heart say that is possible. Wishes can come true. What does my soul say? Hmm. My soul says that if you throw a penny in a wishing pool and you watch the ripples come out from that penny, that's the work that we do once we make the wish. Each of those ripples is a little bit of the energetic work we put into creating that wish to come true for ourselves. So that's the deepening of understanding what each card is, and the connection through your mind, your heart, and your soul. And you write these down and you create your own booklet for each card deck. I have a massive one for each of the decks that I've gone through, and each of the cards in each of the deck. Do I ever go back to that? Occasionally, but not often. It's the visceral handwriting of that information that then connects me to those cards moving forward always. So you can use that as a practice for yourself, to gain that deepening connection. Great. I see people have put down what they need more clarity on. I love that. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. My purpose, building a business, creating creative self expression, my direction, my purpose, gaining clarity on all of those things. Absolutely. Um, so, Brenda asks, why do some oracle decks look like a tarot deck? So, tarot decks, there's a difference between oracle decks and tarot decks. Tarot decks, each tarot deck is going to have the same amount of cards and the same card. It's going to have the major arcanas and the minor arcanas. It's going to have each of the cards in each of those are going to be in each deck. Are they going to look different? Absolutely. The authors are going to put their own creative expression into each of those decks. But an oracle deck are very different. Like this oracle deck has 62 cards in it. This oracle deck has 54 cards in it. The Oracle of the Lake has 44 card decks in it. So each oracle card deck is very, very different and doesn't follow any structure the way a tarot deck follows. So that's the difference of why do some oracle card decks look different than a tarot deck, but Brenda's asking why they look like a tarot deck, because some people who are creating oracle card decks come from um, that structured learning of tarot. So it's the author's influence that they're putting into it, where some of them start looking very similar to a tarot deck. And Kim is saying that she wants clarity on getting out of stuck. All right. So I think that one of the things about the Oracle of the Lake deck, which is really great, is that it was created under the skies at Lake Winnipesaukee, which is the smile of the Great Spirit. So there's this big connection to and from source. When you understand an author's purpose and connection, you get that better connection to a card deck. So I was at a conference with Sonia at one point in time, and I saw these and I listened to her, and I got that really profound connection because the answer is simple. And I love that. And I bought the cards and I love them. The Oracle of the Card deck is now available for purchase. It comes through my publishing house. So you can use that bit.ly link to go grab a deck if you don't already have one from those lovely people who pre-ordered. With the Oracle card deck, once you get it, you will then get a PDF, an e-booklet, which has all of those things. You will also get a sheet on what crystals are best to use with Oracle decks. And this is with any Oracle deck, but very specifically the Oracle of the Lake deck. And I'll go through that quickly. The first crystal is selenite. All right. Selenite, it's a very soft crystal. It often breaks, but it opens up our crown chakra, that energy chakra that is connected to spirit. And it also holds that place of being able to get centered and grounded, and has a lot of protective energy. So when you have this around you while you're doing a reading, you won't have other energies trying to glum on you. So it creates that little protective sphere around you so that you can open up your crown chakra and get those energy answers, those divine answers you want. Two other crystals which go hand in hand with the Oracle of the Lake deck, but with any deck, are sodalite. That's this first crystal. Sodalite, Sodalite. If you ordered pre-order, you got a couple of these in there. Sodalite opens up our ability to enhance our intuition, and it soothes our emotion. They're a really great grounding crystal. I use them and I rub them together all the time. And of course, that beautiful energetic blue color there goes great with the lake. So for those of you who are asking, what are the crystals that came in the pre-order that you already have? Sodalite is one of them. And the other is Rainbow Moonstone. Moonstone is a really great intuition crystal that opens up our channels and our abilities to connect to that inner GPS, and also has a little bit of divine wisdom within them when you use the rainbow crystal. Rainbow crystals, as I was talking earlier about the rainbows, these crystals together, the selenite, the sodalite, and the rainbow moonstone, just really help enhance a reading. And you can use them any different ways. You can do your reading and then just hold them in your hand and connect them to your heart. You can set up an altar when you do your readings in front of you, whether you use a singing bowl to call in your spirit guides and then have some crystals around that. You can put them in a pouch with your oracle decks, wherever you hold your oracle decks. Most of my oracle decks are in a basket that has a really nice velvet cloth, and it has some crystals in it that helps keep the energies flowing in and around my decks between each of the full moons when they get re-energized with that energy. So crystals really do help enhance that reading. They help enhance anything all the time, but so that answers that question for you. Did I miss anything else? Okay, good. Any other questions? Just throw them in there. Using your wisdom deck. Okay, so you have your wisdom deck, you've chosen it, you've connected to it, you've consecrated it. What do you do next? The first thing you want to do is determine the drawing you are going to create. What is that drawing you are going to create? How am I going to use my cards today to get the answers that I need? Cards can be used anytime, anywhere, right? We can just pick a card. What's the clarity I need for that? Oh, brewing storm, brewing storm. What's that mean? Oh, there's a brewing storm. I need to take. Oh, it's not going to be so bad. Cross your T's and dot your I's. You'll survive it. That's what I just got from my head, my heart, and my soul. Right? Just doing that quickly, and doesn't that feel like it helps center and ground you? Right? So you can use one card readings anytime, anywhere that you have your deck. Drawings can be much more involved. You can do drawings that are 12 and 15 card wide and long. You can use them as a tarot drawing. You can use them to layer them. Once you get an initial reading, you can then do a second layer around the cards, which I really love doing, getting that extra layer of clarity. So you have to determine what your card drawing is going to be. The one, which is the really great one if you're new to cards, is just where have I been, where am I now, and where am I going, as it relates to a question that you're asking yourself. Where have I been? Where am I now? And where am I going? Right? So there are 3 cards. Where have I been? Where am I now? And where am I going? Um, Sometimes that where am I going will help shift any anxiety or fear that you have around that question because it gives you that courage to start taking those vibrant first steps for yourself. So, determine the drawing you are going to create. My favorite drawing is a 4 card drawing with a bonus card in the middle. But it's based on the 4 element theory. It's what does my head know about this right now? What does my heart, my emotions say to me about this situation? What does my spirit know about this? What about my body? What's my body telling me about this? Because while we are spiritual beings and we want that direct connection and oracle to source, I also know I am working on this earthly plane. I am walking every single day and breathing air in and out. And that means my mind is helping guide the way, my emotions are guiding the way, my spirit is guiding the way, and my body is guiding. And I need to bring them all together in this beautiful reading to understand what I need to get clarity on. And then I'll throw in an extra bonus card with what's the next best step going forward. So that's one of my favorite morning readings that I do for myself. Um, Another one you can do a 7-star reading, which is doing those 4, right? And then doing what does Father Sky want you to know? What does Mother Earth want you to know? And then what does all of this mean together? And that's a 7-star reading. So using your deck, you want to determine the drawing that you're going to create for yourself. It could be a 1 card, it can be 2 cards, but you have to understand what each card is going to be when you pull your cards. Let's look at creating your shuffle pattern because that's what's really fun about card decks, right? They're just really fun. So what I love about the Oracle of the Lake cards, where did this go? Is their size. They're a little different than the size of the standard oracles that you get in the boxes. So they're a little smaller. So you can see that. Right? So they shuffle really well. So I'm into shuffling, right? Just the shuffling. You can do it with the standard shuffle. Right? You can do it with and I never do this with decks. It's not my favorite, but you can do the casino shuffle, right? Where you get the deck in there. You can do the card cutting and just cut the cards 18 different ways and then bring them back together. You can do the energy clearing of the cards, which is just taking your knuckles and clearing the energy of the cards. Okay? Just this will shuffle them around. Okay? Shuffles the energy. You can take a feather. And just wand off the energy. That's a way of shuffling. Because really, shuffling is just mixing up the energy of something, right? It's mixing them up, the order and the energy. So a lot of people will also talk to students of tarot and oracle card or wisdom decks about those that pop out, like that you're shuffling and they pop out. Some people will say, well, that one's got to go off to the side because that just doesn't want to be in this drawing today, right? Other people will say, well, that one I need to, it's popping out because it needs to be heard, right? It's raising its hand and wants to be heard. You need to get familiar with what this shuffling means to you and how you want to use it and create your own shuffle pattern. So practice that. Practice these different ways. The traditional just card shuffle, the windmill casino shuffle, right? Where you're putting them down. I can't do that. They'll go all over the place. The cutting of the deck shuffle or an energetic shuffle. And just feel how they are in your hands after you do that. So for me, my personal shuffling pattern, if you've had an oracle card reading from me, my personal shuffling pattern is I just shuffle away this way until I feel a calming in them and they say, I'm ready to stop. And then I guide them back together and I do an energetic clearing. That's my personal shuffling pattern. What's yours? If you've played with cards, let me know if you have a personal shuffling pattern. Let me know if you think you know what your personal shuffling pattern is. If you play rummy with a friend, you may already have a shuffling pattern, even if this is your first introduction to wisdom cards, right? But create that own pattern, because what you're doing is you're creating a pathway to your own inner wisdom and to source's wisdom so that you can become your own oracle, all right? And that's what the shuffling pattern does. It gets you centered and ready to quietly connect and pull your cards. Pulling your cards. Lots of different ways to pull your cards too, right? Lots of different ways to pull your cards. You can wand them out, wand them out, wand them out, and start sensing which ones come out easily. Right? Which ones come out? Oh, that one comes out easily. Then wand them out. Which one comes out easily? That's one way. You can just do a deck cut. Cut the deck. And this is the next card. All right. So pulling your cards is also a personal footprint to your connection. Before you pull the card, know your intention. Ask that discerning question, which we're going to talk about next. What do I want clarity on, right? So Michelle said, I want clarity on my purpose. Right? And she's going to do a 3-card draw. I want clarity on my purpose. Please guide me to the best answers. And she gets her first card. This is the what's been happening up to this point. That's her first card. Where am I now in understanding my purpose? That's the second card. And where do I need to go? What do I need to embrace to fully understand my purpose? That's my third card. All right. And Michelle, if you email me, Laura at Soulwise Living, I just pulled that for you. I will let you know what the Oracle of the Lake said about that. Just email me and say you want to know, and I will let you know. All right. Didn't know that there was going to be a little bonus for you. How are we doing on time? Oh, great. So we're going to be connecting to our wisdom in using the decks. We're going to determine the drawing that we need. We're going to create our own shuffling pattern and get used to that and use that. We're going to get centered and draw with intention around where each card in your reading is situated and what it means for you. So some people will actually get a template and put the cards in a template and say, okay, this piece is for the 4-card. If I'm doing a 4-card reading, this is for what my mind says about it. This is what my body says about it. This is what my emotions are saying about this situation. Right? So you can get a template out and then put them all in their wonderful little spots and put a crystal next to each one of those. You can get as detailed as that and specific if you'd like. Okay? All right. So the key to gaining great clarity is the asking of discerning questions. Right? Asking of discerning questions. It's when we are going through life and when we are trying to understand our path, understand our purpose, understand the next vibrant step forward for creating greater joy and abundance, whatever that intention is to ask a very discerning question. So we might be looking at a relationship for ourselves and we might say, Will I ever find love? Will I ever find love? That's a great, very broad question, right? What might be a better question if you're looking at that connection for an earthly soul to soul relationship might be, what do I need to embrace in order to attract the exact most wonderful, best fitted relationship to me? What do I need to embrace? You might say, what do I need to shift and embrace? Right? Oftentimes we need to release something and embrace something else in order to get what we are looking for. So it's really about getting crystal clear as to what that discerning question is. So before, at the beginning, I asked of you, what is it you want more clarity in? And we had some great answers. We had business direction, creative self expression, my own direction, my purpose, right? My purpose. So if we're looking at purpose and we want some guidance from our inner oracle, what would be the best creative, discerning question you could ask for yourself? Not necessarily what is my purpose. That's very broad. We need to bring this down into a crystallized question that the oracle can understand. The oracle is very simple, right? Our soul's truth is very simple. Our source, our source's inspiration to us is very simple. We're, as earth angels, as earth people, are the ones that complicate the heck out of everything. Right? We love to complicate things, but our soul's truth is very simple. The answer is simple. Right? So perhaps it's what is it that I'm holding on to that is blocking me from understanding my purpose? That's a very clear and discerning question. Right? What do I need to release in order to embrace my purpose? What do where can I gain knowledge on how to execute my purpose? Right? So we put questions up here about my purpose, my purpose. People are putting my purpose, where you want to gain clarity. I don't know whether you all know what your purpose is and you just want to get really, I know what my purpose is, but I keep wanting to get crystal clear, right? So I might say, cards, soul, source, what is the next best way to execute my purpose so I can step further in living my truth today? I might do it for the month, I might do it for the year, but that's a really clear thing other than saying, how do I show up? How do I live my purpose? Right? That's very broad, but what is the next best thing? Right? So we want to create those really clear, discerning questions for ourselves. So if you have a discerning question that you want to put in for me, that you want some support in understanding a little bit more, let me know. Put that in there, and we can work around it a little bit as well. Okay, I want to make sure. Yay. Okay. All right. Um, or if you have no clue what it is and you want some support, um, we can work on that if I have time at the end. Ah, so we've asked the discerning question, right? We've shuffled. We've shuffled. We know what pattern we're going to use, what drawing we're going to use for. We've drawn our cards. We've drawn our cards, right? And they're out there. Now is the time to connect to your own inner oracle, right? Because you can draw a card. Well, let's just do one. We'll do a card for. I have some choices for after the work today. What is my best choice in using my time later this afternoon? Okay. What is my best choice in using my time between 5 and 7 tonight? What is my best choice in using my time between 5 and 7 tonight as it relates to my house? Okay. Channel of light. Channel of light is the card that I drew. Okay. Now it's time to connect it to my own inner oracle. What's that mean as it relates to my house? A channel of light? Does that mean I pay no attention to my house? Channel of light. Light. Channel. Okay, I need to create a clear channel. So the best use of my time between 5 and 7. I'm getting a couple of different hits. My head is saying, oh, clean the house, right? My heart is saying, oh, I just want to go to the beach. Right? And my soul is saying, it's saying clean the floors. It's saying vacuum and clean the floor, mop up a couple of the spots in the floor. We have an incontinent dog right now, so we clean up after her, but sometimes she needs a little extra cleaning up. Channel of light. So what it's telling me, my soul is telling me I'm connecting to my inner oracle, and that's the answer. Now, whether I choose to do that or not is up to me. But that's where the living your truth is. You get that answer, and yeah, it'd be much nicer to go to the beach, right? But to live my truth, the cleaning the floor is going to help me for some odd reason. I don't know. I don't need to know the answer to that. But just cleaning the floors and doing a deep dive into them. All right. So connecting to your inner oracle, it might mean that you need to journal it out. You might need to put that question down on your journal and just say, okay, what do I need to know about this? That might help. Tap into your inner oracle. If you need to have meditation music on and just go, okay, channel your light. What does that mean for me? Get very quiet and do a Nadira yoga, right? A Nidra. Um, or it might mean that I need to just clear myself. Oh, yeah, I need to clear my floors. It's coming through loud and clear, ladies. Okay, so let's see. We've got a couple questions here. Okay, Jacqueline is asking, my glasses, what shape is the moonstone and what is the shape of the satellite? Jacqueline, they don't have specific shapes, and I know that that's something that's a little challenging for you. Um, the if you're feeling them, if you get these and you feel them in your beautiful little hands, the satellite is a little flatter, a little longer and oblong, right? Whereas the moonstone is a little bit more cubed. It's more of a cube shape, all right? In general, but they come in all different kinds of shapes, right? Okay, Patty is saying the answer is simple. The answer is simple are my favorite. I have no clue. Yeah, they're great. These cards by Sonia are just really they are. So I'll show you a couple so that you can have them as reference for people who are looking for them. I guess I see that for me, everything happens for a reason. So I'm looking at the channel of light and 5 to 7 and cleaning the floors, and I have the Be Courageous card came up, right? That's the one I just picked. So these are just very simple and elegant looking cards. So I guess I have to be courageous and clean my floors, people. Here's another one. Reach out, right? Reach out. Reach out. So they are, and they're simple. They're simple. Maria, what can I ask for to know how I can learn telepathic communication? That's a great question to ask the oracles, actually. So what I would do is you can hone that question in a little bit more, Maria, by asking one of two questions. You can go one of two ways with that. And I don't know you well enough to really understand how telepathic you feel you are, but it might be, How telepathic am I? And what is holding me back from being more? So it might be a personal inquiry. It might also be an external inquiry. So there's those personal inquiries of what do I need to release? What do I need to embrace? And then there are external inquiries, which are what do I need to do or where can I go? Right? What do I need to do between 5 and 7? That's kind of an external because I'm going to go do something between 5 and 7. So if your question is about where can you go to learn about telepathic communication, the question you might ask the oracle is, um, yeah, okay. The question that you might ask is there an organization within a certain radius of your house? Do I need to do this virtually, or can I do it within 50 miles of my home? And it's a this or that, and hone it down with a series of this or that support from the oracle cards, right? So you can use readings that way as well. Is you can do a this or that, right? The is it this or is it that? Once you get down into having 3 or 4 different options for yourself, Maria, I would then suggest using a pendulum to get that very specific answer for yourself if you can't get it through another mean really crystal clear. I hope that helps. Brenda is saying, how do I connect with my soul's purpose and hear the guidance it is giving me? Okay. So those are really 2 very similar questions because it's on a path to getting an answer, but there are 2 different questions there. The first is by Kim. The first is, how do I connect with my soul's purpose? So, how do I connect with my soul's purpose? You can do that in a 1 card draw. You can do it in a 2. What do I need to release to connect to my soul's purpose? What do I need to embrace to connect to my soul's purpose? So that you're doing some inner work with that, right? So that might be one thing. How do I connect with my soul's purpose? How do I listen more deeply? That can be a 1 card question. How do I listen more deeply to my soul's purpose as asked for by Brenda? So I pulled for you there the Purify card. So what does purify mean to you? Where do you need to purify? Is it your mindset that you need to purify? Do you need to release emotions that don't serve you? Do you need to clutter clear your space so that you are able to hear that wisdom coming from your soul, right? Do you need to clear your body? Because, our bodies sometimes need some purification, right? So then the next question would be, and hear the guidance it has given me. So, okay. So I know my soul's purpose, but how do I hear more clearly its wisdom? So for me, my soul's purpose is to awaken wisdom. That's my soul's purpose is to awaken wisdom. 2 words, awaken wisdom. Right? How do I hear the best way for me to awaken wisdom today? How do I awaken wisdom today? And I'm getting to a 7-card reading. I'm just sitting into that. How do I awaken wisdom today? It's a little bit deeper. It's do a 7-card reading, Laura. Get into it. You do that 7-card reading so that I can feel where I'm stopping myself with my mind and what are my emotions hanging around with my wisdom these days, right? And what does Mother Earth and Father Sky want me to know about awakening wisdom? So you can tell whether you are going to, you can feel whether it's just a 1-card draw or something bigger, okay? And step into that. Maria is asking, which set of cards suggest you to work with? Which set of cards suggest you to work with? Maria, I'm not sure I understand that. Are you asking which set of cards do I suggest you work with? Or which set of cards do you want me to choose cards for you? 'Cause I don't work that way, right? I have what I call as my team of angels speaking to me. I actually call them Winnie. They show up a lot more when I'm at the lake, um, and they often tell me what's best for somebody else, as it relates. But then here's the thing: I am a human being, and I will um, put it through my humanness, right? Bringing that information forward. And so I often will use that to help create discerning questions with my clients so they can get to their inner wisdom. I am all about um, empowering others to find their own answers because I had clients when I first started this work and I was doing it kind of ad hoc about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I actually had people calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning saying, Laura, what do you think? Laura, what do you think? And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So now I'm using my skills to help people get those answers for themselves at 3 o'clock in the morning. Maria says, what card desk can I use to learn for myself? So Maria, as I said at the beginning of the webinar, the card decks that really support you are the ones that you are energetically drawn to. So I would go to a metaphysical store because you're asking this question. I would actually go to a metaphysical store and step in front of them and see which ones pull you in. Hold a deck in your hand and say, oh God, yeah, no, that feels heavy. Or, oh my gosh, I'm drawn to it. Just feel whether you're energetically pulled to certain decks. Right? Look at the colors. Look at the different cards, right? If you might go and you might say, hey, I like the Oracle card, the Oracle of the Lake cards, Laura. Um, and on the sales page, you can see a lot of the different cards. So it might resonate with you that way by looking at some decks through um, through online shopping. All right. But what card deck can you use to learn for yourself? I would use a simpler card deck to begin with. I would not use a tarot deck. That can get very involved. Some decks that have like this deck is a 62 card deck. I would go with more of the 40 to 44 card decks first. Patty, bye. Good luck, good luck, good luck. Um, I would go with a shorter card deck so that you can really start getting to know the cards intimately. I hope that helps. Peggy says she knows her purpose. What would be a good way to know what direction to take it? Sure, Peggy, great question. I would do a before, during, and after, like circumstances coming up to now, where you are now, and where am I going? What is the best direction for me to go in? Then you might want to layer it with what do I need to release? What do I need to embrace to bring to you the future, right? Because we always talk about the future being out there, right? And live, when I get, when I get, when I do this, when I get there, when I get here. We always are looking out there, but to live your truth, you need to bring your future to you. So I would do that 3 card draw, and then I would layer it with a second 3 card draw, which is the what do I need to release? What do I need to embrace? And who do I need to be showing up in that purpose? Right? Great. So, a couple of questions. How long? Uh-oh, my PowerPoint went off. How come it went off? There we go. How long does this take? How long does it take to really learn all about the cards and to figure out that you are truly accessing your truth? My answer to that is forever, in a good way, right? It's forever because as you're stepping into living your truth, you want answers to be really clear. So you want to continually be practicing stepping into understanding things. So I have a deck. I have a deck. Dun-dun-dun. This is one of my favorite decks, which is the Soul Coaching deck, right? And I often will go to that deck and relearn the cards, do the three things with the cards so that I get really yummy and crystal clear so that when I'm using the cards, my answers come faster. We need to practice with our tools, right? You don't go out and run the Boston Marathon without doing a couple of 10Ks. You might even want to do a half marathon. You need to practice these tools. If you use essential oils, you don't just say, oh, this essential oil is really good for me. Mary, I don't know if you're still on, right? I'm going to use this essential oil and just put it on. You have to practice with them to feel their vibration, right? To understand that a peppermint is for cooling and another one is for heating up. And which do you need to energetically use for the best healing process for yourself? Right? What is the best grounding um, uh, essential oil? So it's about the practice. So it's not necessarily that it's going to take forever, but it's that you are going to be practicing forever. All right. You are going to be practicing. And Mary says yes. Mary is great with essential oils. It takes a long time, right? To understand yourself. But the more you do it, the richer life becomes. The more curious we become and the more creative we become. And when we are curious and creative, the more the answers start flowing. And look at the 3-year-old who 2 or 3-year-old is always going, Mom, what time is it? Mom, how does this work? Mom, how does that work? They're curious, they're creative, they're asking those discerning questions so that they can get answers because they want to move forward in the world. So put on your curious and creative hat when you're doing this. I also offer readings. So if you get stuck and you want some extra support in getting the discerning questions, I am going to be doing these for the next 2 months. I do them in spurts. Sometimes I close down the opportunity, sometimes I open it up. But with the Oracle of the Lake deck, I am opening up some. And you can go to this website, the bit.ly/SWLSOR, if you want a reading. Within those readings, I will also tutor you on how to use the cards as well. So I may be sitting back and have you doing your own drawing and ask you about your shuffle. Is that clear to you? How does that feel? Because I want to give you the fish. I want to give you the fishing pole so you can fish for life. I don't want to give you the fish so that you just eat for the day. Right? So in the readings where I'm doing the cards, we do a lot of discerning questions, and I'm pulling out of you that truth that is staying hidden, right? So that you can align with your purpose to step forward. And I will also do some tutoring around using the cards so that you can do a card drawing at 3:00 in the morning when you can't fall asleep because this one particular thing is bothering you, right? So, bye, Cindy. Have a good afternoon. So, I just hope that you've gotten some clarity out of this. You've gotten some golden gems out of this today. That the smile of the Great Spirit is upon you always. I know this. The Oracle of the Lake deck is available for you if you would like that at the bit.ly link that is there. If you have any questions about using these, you can hop into the Living Your Truth community on Facebook and ask some questions there. And I'm always in there answering questions. I ask a lot of questions in there too. We have a lot of fun in there. But really use this as an awakening tool, as a way to, we're coming to the end of Mercury in retrograde. It's coming. I can feel it coming. And the beginning of the second month of the full summer, right? And we want to step forward and shine brightly. So begin to embrace this tool, the Oracle deck, the Wisdom decks, as a tool to be more curious, to be more creative, to align with your purpose, to step forward and shine brightly, because that's what the world is waiting for you to do. All right. So I hope this has helped. Um, and I have enjoyed it thoroughly, spending my lunchtime with you. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out either in the Living Your Truth community or via quick email to me. All right, everyone. I hope that you have a great rest of the day, and that you are shining brightly. Bye, Galen. Bye, Mary. Bye, Cindy. Have an amazing afternoon, everybody, too. All right. Big hugs, everybody. Bye.